to see you. Um, so today I'm going to be teaching you some signs for actions. All right. So in class this last Monday, we remembered all of the signs that we've been learning, some animal signs, some feeling signs, the people signs, things like that. But then we learned some new ones. And so they're all actions. And so I'm going to teach them today. So first of all, we have want. If someone else has it, you want it. All right. Need is like a hook. It's really a big need and you hook it. You need it. All right. Then we have actions where our left hand, like my mom had taught, remember this left or your non-dominant hand is a hand that's almost like a backdrop. All right. For here, it's the floor. And then our fingers, our two main fingers here, our pointer finger and our second finger, then are like the legs. So we have stand, we have lay, then we have kneel and crawl. Then you have jump and hop. And then for sit, it seems counterintuitive because you think you would just sit those two legs down. That's not true. Instead, what you do is you make like a bench for them with these two fingers of your non-dominant hand, and then you sit the other two legs down. So sit, and then there's swing. Then the other one where there's a platform in our hand, it's dance. I love this one, dance. Run. Run is a little bit of a trickier one. You take both your hands, and you make the letter L. The way that I remember this, or the way that I might teach it, is because our son Leif, L, starts with an L sound. He loves running, and he's very good at it. So that's where I think of the L. Otherwise, there's no reason for it. But you take your two letters that look like an L, and then you hook your pointer finger of the dominant hand with the thumb on the other, and you run. All right. Run. Walk is just your two hands are acting like the feet and they walk forward. Walk. Make. You're mixing something. Make. Work. You're pounding down. All right. You're working. Maybe think of a hammer pounding down. Play is the last letter in the word play. It's the Y. And you shake it to your sides, play. And then you think of the word toy, and it's a T that you shake. All right. Obviously not an action, but just teaching as we go. Lead, you take your hand and you guide it forward. This is actually the sign for guide as well. In signed exact, you might do that initial letter L for lead, and then you lead it or lead. Follow. If somebody is following someone, it means that the person in the front had a great idea, right? Then you take that next hand and you follow it. Whereas chase is like follow, but it's faster, all right? Chase. Wash. Take your two hands. It's almost like scrubbing, all right? Like with the two stones or something, and you scrub it or you wash it. Remember, that's different than make, where you're twisting. Wash, your scrubbing. Very good. Then we have watch. With this, I think of the blinders that you put on a horse like harness and you focus. All right. This is also the sign for focus. It's pay attention. It's watch. All right. So it's all three of those words. Then we have look. If you look, it's you take your hands and you two fingers in front of your eyes and you look out. Whereas see is just like this. See, but look goes around, right? Hunt. This was a fun one in class. I talked about the sign for hunt as you take, it's like the binoculars that you put and you're kind of bouncing around as you're hunting for something. All right. Gail, who's deaf, and in our class, she went, no, it's like that. We said, oh, it makes sense because in our family, no one actually hunted. No one did that. Instead, we hunted for things like our books or our, missing clothes or things like that. So two different signs, same word, but obviously two different meanings. So there's hunt, like you're looking for something, you're searching for it, or there's hunt, where you're shooting the gun, right? Say, it goes around your mouth because this is where we speak, right? The sign for talk is 4 fingers by your vocal cords. Talk. Listen is an L, and that's by your ear. I've also seen it's kind of by your eyes, right? Because someone who is hearing impaired or deaf, they're listening with their eyes. Come. Someone else is over here, and you want them to come, all right? Different than want, because want, your hands are always kind of in that receiving position, and you get it, right? Or you want it. But come, they're flat, and then you beckon them. Come. Go, it's like a shoe, but it's with these 2 fingers, and go. Go. Get, someone else has it, and you get it. Take is the same, but you do a T in. Take or get. Bring or to give. It's just whoever is bringing it or giving it. So like if I'm giving it to someone else, I give, all right? Or I bring it to you. Whereas if you're bringing it or I want you to give it, it comes from whoever you're pointing to, and they bring it or they give it, all right? Become. It's the first letter in the word become. So that B, both hands are B's. One is on the bottom, one is on the top, and they switch places. They become. Now, if you were to do transform, it's the letter T. You transform. If you did change, I think of the word that or you need to change, like you need to change your clothes or something like that. And it's the need. Remember, it's that hook. Change is that need first. Well, it looks like the need first. It's the hook, but it's to change. All right. So become, transform, change. I love how a lot of these things you can understand the meaning of a word, often just because of the same type of action that it is. Eat. It's the food right here. It's you pick it up, but it's eat, right? Eat. When we talked about food is an F that comes to our mouth. Breakfast, all of the meals happen right here. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper. And then someone in class asks, they're like, well, what about snack? Because that's the S, you think of for supper. And so then my mom said, oh, it's more like snack, right? Supper, we're just a little bit more refined. But snack, we take it all in with those S's. Drink, you hold that cup, drink. Put, if you put something somewhere, you have your kind of dainty fingers and you put it. Put. Sleep, we've talked about this one before, but it's almost like you're just shutting the blinds. Sleep. Wake. Wake. We also talked about how surprise is a lot like wake, but it's maybe bigger. It's surprise. Or maybe it goes up higher, but wake is a little bit more gentle, and you actually kind of would open your eyes. Sing. It's like you're directing. This is also the sign for song. It's also the sign for music. Worship. You take your hands, put them together, and you go forward. Worship. And build. You construct, right? You start here and you boom, 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 boom. All right. I love that one. Build. Obviously, there are many, many more actions. We could go on for days and days and days, but those are some to get started. And now I'm going to teach you some being verbs. But these, what I love about them is they all come from my chin. All right. So being verbs, when I had to memorize them when I was young in my class, and I had to know what all were the being verbs, I was like, oh, this is easy because they all come from my chin. Again, kind of a gift in knowing sign language. But you think of the first letter of each of those being verbs. So am is an A, comes from my chin. Am. Is the letter I, comes from my chin. Am, is. Are, it's not an A because that would be am, right? It's that predominant sound you hear in R. Are. Am, is, are. Was is the W from my chin, because there's also were. We go into the past with it. So we do was with an S into the past. Was. Were, it's a W into the past of are. Were. All right. Be. Being Anytime you add an ing onto a sign or onto a word, you do this I and you kind of flip it, ing. So being, and then been happened in the past, so it's be into the past. All right. Then we have can and could. So can is just the C coming down, which is almost like able. Able's the A coming down. Can, able, but could is a C to a D. Again, I'm getting more into some of the specifics where if you're doing kind of that more signed English, it's helpful to know all these. Otherwise, if you just go forward with your hands, someone who's hearing impaired or deaf is going to know you're talking about can, could, or able. A lot of the same type of meaning for the word. Should is like need. It's hooked. Should. Then will and would. These are future tense verbs, right? And so it's the W for will, and you go into the future to an L. Will. Would is a W, again, that goes into a D in the future. Would. Then do, your hands are back and forth, or doing, right? Or did, because it's a do into the past of D. And done is a do finished. Done. All right. Have, has, and had. In ASL, you're going to see all of them just go like this. But in signed exact, it's the V to a chest for have, has an S to the chest, and had is the D to a chest. So have, has, or had. Then we talked about some sports signs. So I want to teach them to you now. Again, I can't cover them all, but real quickly. Gymnastics, because that was my sport, and also the sport that most of my daughters do. So gymnastics is, here's my bar, here's the letter G, we twist around it. Gymnastics. I've also seen it's where a V for like the legs that are spread apart. They should be together though, technically, but it goes around. Maybe you even think of the V for vault. All right. Then we have football is football, you're throwing that ball. Baseball, the bat. Basketball, you dribble it and you shoot it. Tennis is a T and it's back and forth. Ping pong is the P, right? Swim or swimming, right? Soccer, here's my goal and I'm just kicking it. Soccer. Volleyball is you're just setting the ball. Volleyball. Wrestling. Here they come into a match together, right? My mom, she also signed the word wrestle, right? Because that looks a little bit more like wrestling. Canoeing. Take your canoe, your oar. Thank you. Canoe. Biking. It's like the pedals going forward. Bike. Skiing is you take your poles for skiing. Skiing. Skating is the skate. All right. If you want to be technical, ice skate. Then we have I already did basketball. And the last one we taught was golf. And as you can see, I'm scrunched up because I need to stay on camera, but golf, you're just kind of hitting at it. That's it for today. We will see you all next week. And next week I'll send you a video of our kittens. They are growing now. They look a little bit the same as last week, but I'm hoping that next week they'll have their eyes open and they'll be much cuter. So see you next week. Love you all and practice your signs. Bye-bye.